Hello everyone. You are welcome back to my YouTube channel John Lewis 3D Learning. In this presentation we are going to see periodic table, the comparative study of alkali metals and halogens. This is the periodic table. The first group elements are called alkali metals and the 17th group elements are called halogens. And we have learned the various periodic properties of all these elements present in periodic table. Now we are going to study the comparative study of the properties of alkali metals and halogens. So let us take alkali metals and halogens. So these are the various properties. Occurrence, how do they occur, how alkali metals occur, how halogens occur. Then physical state, in which physical state they are present, the combined state, or they exist on its own without combining with any other element. So like that we have to study various properties. What are the various properties we are going to study in this presentation are valency electron, conduction and nature, that is conduction of electricity and nature, and melting point and boiling point, atomic size, ionization energy, electron affinity, electronegativity, reactivity, chemical reactivity, then reaction with acids and water, then whether they are reducing agents or oxidizing agents, and finally compound formation, what type of compound they form, electrovalent compound or covalent compound, or with what they form that bond. Everything we have to study in detail. Okay, see, we are going to see how they behave for all these properties, both alkali metals and halogens, how similar they are or how different they are. So we have to do a comparison of the properties of these two groups of elements, alkali metals and halogens. So let us take the first one. So this is alkali metal, this is halogen. So you know first group are alkali metals and 17th groups are halogens. Okay, occurrence, how do they occur? See, alkali metals occur in combined state. Why? Because it is highly reactive in nature. Because it is having only one electron in the outermost orbit, they have the tendency to lose that one electron to become stable. So therefore they are highly reactive. That is why they always occur in combined state. They will ask you why alkali metals occur in combined state. Then you should be able to give answer like this. Then halogens also occur only in the combined state. Why? They are also reactive in nature. Why? They all have 7 electrons in the outermost orbit. Therefore they have high tendency to accept one more electron to become stable. That is why they are also highly reactive in nature. That is why they occur in combined state. Let's move on to the next property. So alkali metal and halogens, I am putting it again and again so that by seeing it again and again, that will stick very well in your mind, where alkali metals are present in the periodic table and where halogens are present in the periodic table. Okay, next property is physical state. See, all the alkali metals are shining white and they are solid in nature, and they all can be cut with knife, and when cut it will be shining, but when it is exposed to air, the shiny color becomes dull. So these are the various physical properties of these alkali metals. They are shining white, solid in nature, they can be cut with knife. When cut, it shows or they appear very shiny, but when exposed to air, the shiny color decolorizes or the shiny color change into very dull color. See, what about halogens? Okay, among all the alkali metals, lithium is the hardest metal. Okay, then halogens, they are all colored diatomic. Diatomic means what? They cannot exist on its own. Two atoms can be combined together always, like twins. Alkali metals are like us, no, so single person. But halogens are like twins. They always exist in two atoms, fluorine F2, chlorine Cl2. bromine Br2, iodine I2, like that only we are writing, because they are all diatomic. They are all colored. So what are the colors of these halogens? Fluorine is yellow color, gaseous, it is a gas in nature. So at ordinary room temperature, what is the physical state of fluorine? It is a gas, and which is also poisonous. Then chlorine, it is yellow is green. This is also a gas and also poisonous. Then what about bromine? Bromine is red brown and volatile. Volatile liquid. Volatile means what? It can be evaporated easily. So that is what is volatile. Non-volatile means the liquid cannot be evaporated. But bromine is a volatile liquid. This is also poisonous. Red brown. What is the first letter of red? R. What is the first letter of brown? B. So you can easily remember bromine, Br. B is brown, R is red. So brown red in color. So bromine. That is why it has got that symbol. We can remember by exaggerating things like that. Okay. So next one is iodine. Iodine is dark grey, that is violet. Dark grey means what? Violet in color, and it is solid in nature, crystalline solid. Okay, see, alkali metals are shining white in color, whereas halogens are, or they all have different colors, and they are all not in the same physical state like alkali metals. Alkali metals are solids, but here fluorine and chlorine are gases, bromine is a liquid, whereas iodine is a solid. So we have to be very, very clear about all these physical state and colors. So let's move on to the third one. So here, what is the third property? Valency electron. How many electrons it has in the valency shell? Alkali metals have 1 electron in the valency shell, whereas halogens have 7 electrons in the valency shell. That is why both are very reactive. So alkali metals ready to give 1 electron to become stable. Halogens are ready to accept 1 electron to become stable. That is why they form electrovalent bond or ionic bond between them. That alkali metals donate, halogens accept. Therefore, the type of bond created by donating and accepting is known as what? Ionic bond or electrovalent bond. Okay, next property is nature. So what is the nature? It is a positive ion, because alkali metals are ready to give 1 electron. Therefore, they are positive in nature. So after giving 1 electron, that becomes plus 1 charge, because the charge of electron is negative, no? Therefore, after giving out that electron, it becomes positive. Okay. Similarly, what is the nature of halogens? They are all negative ions, because they are ready to accept 1 electron to become stable. Since they are ready to accept 1 electron, its charge will be minus 1. So next is conductivity, whether they conduct electricity or not. So alkali metals are good conductors of electricity. So electropositive, they are all electropositive metals, because they are ready to give 1 electron. No? They are highly reactive, because it is willing to give that 1 electron, therefore highly reactive. And metallic character increases when we go down the group. All these things we have already learnt. Metallic character increases when we go down the group. Now let us see for halogens. So they are non-conductors. They do not conduct electricity. Electronegative, non-metals. They are all non-metals. They are electronegative in nature, but these are also highly reactive. Why? Because it can accept electron easily. It can gain electron. Whereas alkali metals donate electron, it can accept electron easily to become stable. That is why halogens are also highly reactive like alkali metals. And non-metallic character decreases. When we go down, the non-metallic character goes on decreasing. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So melting point decreases as we go down the group. Already we have seen it as a separate topic. And for halogens also, what happens? So halogens, the melting point increases, just opposite. So both are groups only, but in metal groups, that is first group and second group, when we go down, what happens? The melting point decreases. But in non-metals, especially in halogens, the 17th group, what happens to the melting point? When we go down, it starts increasing. Okay, next one, boiling point, same thing. So when we go down in metals, that is alkali metals, it decreases. But in halogens, it increases. So here we are sticking to only alkali metals and halogens. We are not bothered about the other group elements here. It is a comparative study of alkali metals and halogens. How do they vary in their properties as we go down? That's what we need to learn here. Okay, the next property is atomic size. What happens to the atomic size? Already we have learned when we go down, the number of shells increases. Am I right? Therefore, atomic size increases. So here also it increases. Because when we go down, the number of shells goes on increasing. Therefore, the distance between the center of the nucleus and the outermost orbit increases. So that means what? Atomic size increases as we go down the group, both in alkali metals and halogens. So largest atomic size in their periods. See, first group elements will be the largest elements in a particular period. For example, if you take the second period, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, helium. So which will be having larger size? Lithium. That is your largest atomic size in their periods. So potassium will be having the largest size among the fourth periods of the elements. Okay. But what about halogens? Smallest atomic size in the periods. See, if you take the second period, lithium is the largest size and fluorine is the last one. So therefore that will be the smallest atomic size. Okay. Next one is ionization energy. Next property is ionization energy. What is ionization energy? The energy required to pull out an electron from an isolated gaseous atom. So what happens here? When we go down, the ionization energy decreases because the atomic size goes on increasing. Therefore, the pull of the outer electron towards its nucleus will be decreasing. Therefore, it is easy to pull out electron. Therefore, ionization energy decreases. In halogens, also it decreases because when we go down, the size increases. Therefore, it decreases. Clear? And which is having lowest ionization energy in the periods. All the alkali metals will be having the lowest ionization energy in their periods. And whereas fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, all these things are the last element in that period. No? Therefore, they have high ionization energy in their periods, but slightly lesser than the noble gases. That is the 18th group elements. They are highly stable. No? Therefore, it is very tough to pull out the electron. Therefore, they have very high ionization energy. Next to that noble gases or inert gases, halogens are having the high ionization energy. So next property is electron affinity. So what happens to electron affinity when we move down a group? It decreases. So energy released when an electron is added to atom. So that decreases when we go down the group. And here also it decreases. In halogen also when we go down the group it decreases. But there is one exceptional case here. Therefore when we say it decreases, so fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, when you look at that order, fluorine should be having highest electron affinity and chlorine should have less electron affinity. Am I right? Less electron affinity than fluorine. But here fluorine is having more electron affinity than fluorine. Afterwards it decreases. For bromine and iodine it decreases. From fluorine to chlorine that increases. It is due to very small size of fluorine. So what is the reason why chlorine is having high electron affinity than chlorine? Or why chlorine is having more electron affinity than fluorine? So what is the answer? It is due to the smaller size of fluorine. It is due to the smaller size of fluorine. Chlorine is having more electron affinity than fluorine. This is an exceptional case, so it may be asked as a question. And lowest electron affinity in their period. So alkali metals will be having the lowest electron affinity in the entire period. So what about halogens? That will be having high electron affinity in their periods. Okay, next property is electronegativity. What is electronegativity? The tendency to attract electron towards itself is known as what? Electronegativity. So what happens when we go down? It decreases because the size increases. the pull will decrease, therefore electronegativity decreases when we go down the group in alkali metals. Same thing with halogens also. When we go down, the size increases, therefore the pull will decrease, therefore electronegativity decreases. And lowest electronegativity in their periods. Okay, like electron affinity, electronegativity also will be the lowest in that particular period. And what about the halogen? That will be the high electronegativity in their respective periods. So the next property is chemical reactivity. How easy it can react with other elements. So it depends on its tendency to lose or gain electron. See, alkali metals have the tendency to lose electron. So when we go down the group, what happens? The atomic size increases. Therefore, it can easily donate its electron. Therefore, chemical reactivity, what happens? It increases when we go down. But what about halogens? When we go down, here also atomic size increases. But here the reactivity depends not on donating electron, by accepting electron. Understand? So therefore, when atomic size increases, the inward pull decreases. Therefore, it will have difficulty in accepting electron when we go down. Therefore, chemical reactivity decreases as we go down. And alkali metals are highly reactive metals, and similarly halogens are the highly reactive non-metals. Okay, so let's move on to the next property. So the next property is reaction with acids and water, or reactions with water and acids. See, alkali metals react vigorously with water and acids, whereas halogens do not react with water and acids. And when alkali metals react with water and acids, what is the gas liberated? Hydrogen gas will be liberated. So since halogens do not react, so there is no change. And the reactivity increases as we go down. So in the alkali metals, the reactivity of the metals with water goes on increasing as we go down the group. So next property is oxidizing and reducing agents. The alkali metals are very strong reducing agents, whereas the halogens are very strong oxidizing agents. That's what we need to be very, very careful. Why alkali metals are strong reducing agents? Electron donors are reducing agent. Electron acceptors are oxidizing agents. See, all halogens have the tendency to gain electron, that is accept electron, whereas alkali metals have the tendency to lose electron. Therefore, they are reducing agents. As they lose electron, they are powerful reducing agents, whereas halogens, as they gain electron, they are powerful oxidizing agents. So question may be asked like this: why alkali metals are reducing agents? Because they lose electron, they are reducing agents. And why halogens are oxidizing agent? Because they gain electron to become stable. They are strong oxidizing agents. Okay. So the next property is compound formation. Whether they form electrovalent compound or covalent compound, like that we have to see. This is the last property. See, form electrovalent compounds with non-metals. See, all the alkali metals can donate electron. Am I right? Non-metals can accept electron. Therefore, they can create a bond between themselves and non-metals by donating their electrons. Therefore, what is the type of bond formed when you donate and accept? So that type of bond is known as electrovalent bond or ionic bond. Therefore, all alkali metals form electrovalent bond when combining with non-metals. And what about halogens? So here the example is sodium chloride and potassium bromide. So sodium is alkali metal. Chlorine, bromines are non-metals. Therefore, sodium can donate its electron to chlorine or bromine. Similarly, potassium also can donate its electron to chlorine or bromine. Thereby, the salt is formed and electrovalent bond is formed. What about halogens? They also can form electrovalent bond by combining with metals. Since they are non-metals, it can combine with metal, just the reverse of what is the first one. Okay, again the same thing. So it can combine with metal and form the respective salts. Okay, is it clear? But halogens, can also form covalent bond, whereas alkali metals cannot form covalent bond. Halogens can form covalent bond with hydrogen and also with other halogens. For example, you take hydrochloric acid, hydrobromic acid, carbon tetrachloride. So here the bond is formed by sharing of electron. So that will be known as covalent compounds. So we will be learning about bonding, what is electrovalent bond, what is covalent bond in detail in the next chapter. So these are the various comparisons of alkali metals and halogens. So now here is a time for you to test yourself. So quickly I show you all the properties and you try to recollect whether it increases or decreases and what all the things you have studied for each and every property. Okay, so what is occurrence for alkali metal and halogens, and what is the physical state for alkali metals and halogens, and valency electron. Okay, I have not given you the answer. You have to fill them up from what you have learnt, and then you can go back and check your answer whether they are right or wrong. Okay, see quickly I give you the chart here. You can pause the video here and you can try to find the answer. Okay, how much you have understood and what is the answer you are going to write for this type of questions, and then again you can check your answer, and that way that will stick very well in your mind, because there are too many properties to explain it once again, so it will be time consuming. Therefore I am stopping here and you try to find out your answer yourself and check yourself. Hope it was very interesting and beneficial to you and you are able to understand the differences between or the similarities between alkali metals and halogens. Thank you very much for watching. Until we meet next time. Bye bye.